Well, one of the things we see with smoking is that it's highly associated with and a driver of health inequalities. People who live in more deprived parts of our country tend to have higher rates of smoking and therefore have higher rates of smoking-related illnesses. We see this disparity as well across some ethnic minority groups. We see this disparity among some age groups, and we also see the disparity in some occupational groups. So people who do more routine and manual labour tend to have higher rates of smoking and therefore have higher rates of smoking-related illnesses. Again, this is why our focus on reducing smoking rates will be a key step in helping to tackle health inequalities, which we know are widening, especially as we've come out of the COVID pandemic and as we're facing additional challenges with the cost of living crisis. So tackling smoking, reducing smoking rates can really help to reduce health inequalities.
As a city, we've set ourselves an aspiration to be smoke-free by 2030. That means we need to work together as a city. And there are real opportunities for us to work as leaders across the system to reduce the levels of smoking in London, working with the local authorities and the NHS. Across London already, there is a lot of really great work going on in the NHS and in the local authorities to help people stop smoking. What we really want to do with the London Alliance is really bring this all together, bring leaders across the system so that we have a really strong system to help Londoners stop smoking and for us to really focus on this aspiration that we have around smoke-free 2030 and to make that possible.
A successful London Alliance in 5 years' time is doing some of the things that we see work elsewhere, absolutely. So they are running those mass media campaigns across London. They have a joined up approach with police, HMRC, trading standards to really get on top of illicit tobacco. They have a really vibrant network, delivering products and policy resources that everyone across London can use. So doing all of that stuff, but absolutely out there championing the agenda across London and beyond. The best regional programmes are in Westminster. They're telling politicians what it is that we need to be able to do our jobs on the ground to really transform the most vulnerable communities to smoking, to make sure that we can reach into every place. So if London is really flying in 5 years' time, it won't just be leading for London, it's going to be leading for the whole country. London is our capital. It's clearly incredibly exciting to see local authorities and other partners coming together to really make this regional alliance work. And London is one of the most exciting cities in the world. It is a world leader in all sorts of ways. Now's the time for it to be a world leader on tobacco and to show the rest of the world what can be done when you really double down on your mission. And why can't London be one of the first smoke-free cities in the world? How terribly exciting would that be?
Well, the London Tobacco Alliance will bring together different groups of people, whether they are in the voluntary sector, in the public sector and beyond, all with the same aim. What we need is everyone to be singing from the same hymn sheet, as it were, with quite clear policies, quite clear directives. London, of course, is a massive area of the country, very diverse, and has people from countries all over the world. One of our problems in London is reaching out to people who might be recent arrivals or may have arrived from the European Union, particularly, I have to say, from Eastern Europe. In those areas, the culture still remains one of smoking is normal. And when you visit those countries, you find that exactly that's the case. Those are some of the people that are hard to reach right now. We've need to encourage people from the different communities to actually give up smoking, because that's the main aim, particularly with those communities. By bringing together different disparate groups, we'll be able to reach these different areas, which at the moment are harder to reach. My parents died when I was 23. They both died of cancer, both died because of smoking. That left me with a young family to exist on the basis of the money I could earn straight away to support my family. We had 2 years prior to their death of terrible experience in terms of health, and seeing my parents die literally in front of me. I don't want any family to go through that, and so therefore for me it's not just a health related issue or a community issue. This is personal. I don't want other people to go through what myself and my family went through, and we lay it at the door of tobacco. So if we can actually make this work, then we reduce down the terrible impact that tobacco has on society.
Smoking is probably the thing that's causing the most avoidable harm to our population, to the population of the country. And we made real strides, 20 years ago with restricting of smoking in public places. I remember you used to smoke on the tube and terrible things like that. But we haven't done the big things since then that have made a difference. And there are still a hugely significant number of people still smoking, and worryingly there are a lot of pregnant women smoke. So we're in the sort of relegation zone for sort of international comparisons. There are nearly 3 times as many pregnant women smoke in this country as, say, Portugal, for instance, and that causes, small babies. It increases the chance of miscarriage and stillbirth, and the consequences, come to pass for both the women who smoke, but also the children that come from that. So now's a really good time, particularly as we recover from the pandemic, to focus on things we can do that can prevent harm for large numbers of people, and a real push on reducing harm from smoking. It's a really good time to be doing that. So I'm really pleased this is happening. I think one of the things that the sort of public sector and the health service is not good at is being coordinated about things and all really seen from that same hymn sheet. So the tobacco industry is a really effective lobby, and they use they lobby politicians and use subtle forms of advertising to promote smoking, and they're really coordinated about it. We can often get divided and conquered. So the professional bodies, that represent the clinical professions, the health service, the public health bodies, local authorities. Sometimes we all do separate and really worthwhile things. But if we all club together and do it together, our voice is much more powerful.
Now is the time for us to keep the momentum on our smoking cessation efforts and helping individuals and communities to do their best to quit. And so the LTA has a key role to play through coordination, communication, helping to focus on what we need to do as a city, learning from best and promising practices, and of course, advocacy, raising the issue of smoking so that all Londoners, all service providers are aware of the dangers of smoking and can take steps to help. Regional tobacco alliances work. We have great examples of where they've been highly effective in other parts of the country, and we're now keen to bring the learning and expertise from that to bring to bear here in London. We have a fantastic group of partners who've agreed to be a part of the alliance, and it's through that collaboration we'll be able to understand what's being delivered in the city at this time, where the gaps are, and how together, working together, we can help to fill those gaps and ensure we're more than the sum of our parts when it comes to helping people to quit smoking in our city. So regional tobacco alliances work. They're best buy for smoking and tobacco cessation, and we're keen now that London leads the way in creating what I think is could be an exciting and dynamic regional collaboration to stop smoking.